I'm James Beeson, currently in a position as the interim global CISO for Pfizer. I know the CCG team really well. My role there is to act as kind of an executive cyber advisor, so to be able to go into companies that CCG is working with and help people maybe understand what some of the macro risks are, help them figure out ways to better leverage the tools they've got, and maybe better leverage some pricing and negotiation on some tools they don't have but would like to have. One of the biggest ones is data privacy, right? So you're putting information into a large language module, and usually that large language module is using that and being trained on the information that you're giving it. And depending on what kind of controls you have around that, there can be a real data management or data risk. That's one big risk. Another one is what I think of, or what I call content authentication. Right? So one of the things that because you don't always get the same answer, you've got to be able to say with some authority whether or not the content that's being generated by generative AI is authentic. Another risk for generative AI is regulatory non-compliance. So one of the things we've already seen is some pretty strict regulations coming into play. In fact, in EU has a pretty strict set of cyber guidelines around generative AI, and the penalties are harsh, like 7% of your global revenue. So making sure that whatever you're doing internally with your company in generative AI, making sure that you're covering whatever those regulations are. And then finally, the last one I would bring up that's of real importance is the supply chain or third parties. And almost every big company's got hundreds, thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of suppliers in their supply chain, and making sure you understand how that supply chain is using generative AI and how, if they're using your data inside their generative AI capabilities, you want to make sure you're thinking through that as well.